All right, it is phase one of planting the watermelons, and I bought these particular seeds, I believe, on Etsy. These are sugar babies. I also have some other ones coming of a different variety. We'll see if they arrive. They've been kind of taking a long time. So sugar babies are smaller watermelons, so that makes them perfect for growing on a trellis. So I will show you guys where I'm going to put them. You want to be sure to choose a spot that gets plenty of sunlight and under a trellis. So this is my trellis here. It's you can use cattle panels. A lot of people do that. It's a lot cheaper, but these are called a squash tunnel, and I bought it on gardeners.com. It was $100 for each one, and there's two here. You only need one to really grow watermelon on. And then I just made a pile of compost here. This is mushroom compost. I used to use cow manure compost, but then I started reading about how it could have E. coli in it, and that makes sense since it is poop. So I have switched to using mushroom compost, and it's really cheap. So I'm going to take these seeds, and you can see I made this into kind of a rounded hill, and it's right under my trellis. And let me see if I can show you, see how it's kind of a rounded higher hill, because apparently watermelon plants need better drainage, so you plant them in little hills. Here are the seeds for the sugar baby watermelons, and I'm going to put 5 in a pile. And just push them in. I'm going to firm up this a little bit. I'm going to do 5. Kind of space them out a little bit. I'm doing more than 5, but I might give these seeds away to some people if I get a bunch of babies. All right. And then, just to make sure the water stays, to make sure these stay moist, I like to put a little bit of pine straw over the top. That's just my own idea. It might be a bad idea, but we'll find out. And then I'm just going to water them in, and they should germinate in a few days, and I'll update you guys soon. So just out of luck, my husband happens to know this guy who discovered these rare heirloom watermelon seeds, and you never get these kinds of watermelons in the market because their rinds are too thin, but apparently they're really sweet watermelons, and these seeds have been sitting in my fridge for 2 years, and I figured this year is the year to bust them out. And the guy said that they would probably be I'd be able to grow them even 5 years after them sitting in the fridge for 5 years. So we'll see. I don't recommend that, but I'm going to try planting some of these, and I've prepared. You want to make sure your frost date is well past, because watermelons don't tolerate any cold temperatures, and you want to get at least 6 hours of sun. And if you do more than one hill, you're supposed to separate them by 6 feet at least, because the vines will get pretty long. Okay, I'm just watering this in really well, and then you've got to keep this moist until the seedlings sprout, and then after that you still need to keep it moist because watermelons need a lot of water, and you don't really ever want this completely dry out. So just remember to keep everything nice and moist. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your watermelons to grow, you might want to make sure you have the right supplies. And I will use netting to use as hammocks if I need them. So you might want to go ahead and buy some netting if you don't have any. I use this garden netting, and you can see my netting here. I'm using it right now to keep the birds off my strawberries, which is completely ineffective because I don't have it up high enough. But that is the kind of netting you will need. Just Google garden netting, and you'll find some. And then I'll water it, and I'll also probably put out slug bait, because I don't know if slugs eat watermelon seedlings, but I can't tell you how many seedlings I've lost because I didn't have slug bait out. and it's made all the difference this summer. Everything has not gotten eaten too badly. It's gotten eaten a little bit. So I'll go get my slug bait and put that down and hopefully keep these little babies safe when they do sprout, if they sprout at all. This is the slug and snail bait I like to use, and I like the fact that it's garden safe, which means if the birds eat it or it gets around any other kind of wildlife, it won't hurt them. Anyway, this is what I like to sprinkle around where I plant seeds, because when the seeds come up, the slugs attack my seeds. So I'm going to do that. You only need about that much for this area, or probably even less. But just about a teaspoon apparently will do it. And it needs to be, the pellets need to land on moist soil. So I'm just gonna throw some out for good measure, because that's how I roll. And then I'll go put some on my other little pile that I put over here. Another thing you can use is I don't know, you guys, sorry. Diatomical, totally not saying that right. Diatomaceous, is it diatomaceous? That sounds more right. Diatomaceous earth. It scrapes the slugs and they can't crawl across it, and it hurts them. I guess it kills them maybe. And then the eggshells, I use crumbled up eggshells, and I've been trying that, and so far the slugs are not worried about it. So I do put that out, but I also augment with this garden safe slug and snail bait.